Alright, so today we're going to be having a little look at this kind of unusual GE candelabra base flame bulb. I guess this is the equivalency of a B10 shape incandescent, what you'd see in a chandelier. Even though this thing would look pretty weird in a chandelier with the coated glass. Believe it or not, this actually is glass, at least I think so. It sort of sounds like plastic, but it generally feels cool or hot depending on if it runs or not, which plastic obviously doesn't really have as much of a thermal change. But this will feel cold if it's cold, and it does get hot when it runs, which makes me think it's glass. There's the etch. It says it's Biax 9 watt. This has absolutely nothing in common with the actual Biax PO bulbs. The only guess I have why they called it that is it does have a similar tube shape. It's got the kind of U-bent style inside of it. 827, so focus, come on. 827, so 2700K, just kind of basic soft white. 9 watts, so this would be basically a 40 watt equivalent, I believe. I don't remember the lumens on this thing. I got several of these loose pretty cheap. They didn't have any packaging, obviously. Made in China, of course, where also this thing be made. I'm going to start this thing up. Usually it's pretty dim to start, but it was running a little bit ago, so it might actually have some brightness to it. Usually all of these enclosed CFLs, for whatever reason, no matter what style they are, flawed or these things, they always start out dim. But we'll see, this time it might not be so bad. Whoop. Yeah, it is still pretty dim. I mean, it's not as bad as I was expecting it to be. Then again, it was running, so the tube isn't exactly cold. Color isn't bad. I mean, the color rendering is okay. It's certainly not bad, but it's not great. It's certainly not incandescent, but I'd say it's on par with a lot of LEDs. I mean, 80 something CRI really is typical for a lot of LEDs, especially cheaper ones. You can just barely see the U-shaped tube inside. It's kind of difficult to see the details, but it is there. Obviously no flicker bands. It's on electronic ballast, so it's not going to have the same 60 Hertz refresh rate. And now it's honestly not that bad. It's relatively bright. I'd say it probably is about a 40 watt equivalent. I don't know the hours on this thing. I mean, it was used when I got it. I don't know if it has 100 hours or 10,000. I don't think it'd be that high because it's really not that dark. I'm going to see if it does a startup. This is pseudo rapid start, it seems sometimes. Sometimes it'll give a little startup flicker. Unfortunately, it's in this Christmas candle fixture, which has absolutely no balance, and this thing is very top heavy with this bulb in it, so just kind of bear with me on this. This thing isn't going to stand very well. I'm going to do a startup, see if it gives a flicker or if it's just going to be instant on. Kind of depends. It seems to be pseudo rapid start, but I can't really tell. I wouldn't say it's really instant. It does seem to have a slight delay. It does kind of have that little fade, and it's kind of hard to notice, but it does have it. I want to think I read somewhere this was called resonant start. I don't really know exactly what that means, but it's supposedly some sort of electronic preheat, and that I guess would make sense. It might be cheaper than doing proper rapid start in this thing. Anyways, kind of an interesting bulb, one of the oddities they made in the 2000s during the days before LEDs, but trying to replace incandescents with greener or more efficient light sources. And of course it fell again. Not really surprised. Anyways, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed.